This camera is 15 years old, but can still take good photos? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Yan Fresnetti, and this channel is mostly about beginner photography. But from time to time you will see me create content that just interests me outside of photography. But yeah, that's just how my channel goes. I used to think that gear is everything. I have spent countless hours watching gear reviews and procrastinating, letting myself be led by gear reviews from creators who are just marketing their affiliate brands. My dad then gave me my very first camera in 2019. It's the Sony a6000, so it was already dated back then, but I was pretty frustrated because it was a mirrorless camera and I was expecting it to perform better than my mobile phone, but I was taking better pictures using my phone. And then, gear reviews after gear reviews, came the time when they launched the a6700, and I purchased that thinking that it will solve all my problems, but it did not, because what I lack is the basic understanding of how cameras work. I didn't understand photography and I didn't understand my gear. Photography at the end of the day is all about capturing light. Cameras throughout the years differ in how well they capture light, shape that light, and render an output or an image. It is a given that older cameras will have very limited features and capabilities compared to the newer ones, but if you know how to use them, they can still take good photos. My point is, you don't need to get the most expensive and the newest gear out there before you start to learn the basics. You don't need the latest gear to create. What matters is knowing what you have and how to use it. To prove my point, I will show you the pictures that I have taken using my wife's old Canon 500D. So this is 15 years old, and the Tamron, I think this is 70-200. It's a variable aperture, so that's a topic for another day. But I don't know if this is one of the best cameras during its launch back in 15 years ago. Setting that aside, I'd like to show you that even with an old camera, you can still take great photos. I will show you the limitations of the camera and the workarounds that I can do to somehow get around those limitations. So the setting is in a cafe, and that's where I've taken photos of people and food. In this first scene, I've taken a picture of Trisha inside a cafe, and although there are lights available and the walls are floor-to-ceiling windows, from this old camera sensor's perspective, the place is still dark, and this is the image that I've gotten from that spot. Here's what the shot looked like straight out of the camera. The shadows are muddy, there's visible noise in the darker areas, and the overall image lacks depth. What can I do about this? I need to get more light, and I can achieve that either by using an artificial light or a stronger natural light source. Without using any other gears, I had to come up with a solution that will allow me to get more light into my subject, and therefore the camera sensor will also see more light. And the biggest light source that I've had then was the floor-to-ceiling window. So what I did is that I moved Trisha closer to the window, and this is how that turned out. And I'm putting that now side by side with the first image, the image taken near the window, and then the edited image of that picture taken near the window. That makes sense. And then let's go to the subject B. This time I've taken a picture of a croissant and a coffee. And the first shot that I've taken was on their counter. So the counter just had like tungsten lights, they're really yellowish, and as you can see on the image, it's really flat, right? There are no details at all. It's just not pleasant to the eyes. So same with the solution that I've used with Trisha, I moved my subjects closer to the window, and this is the picture that I have gotten from that. But as you can see, although the coffee was well lit, the bread or the croissant had like dark shadows. So I had to find a way to somehow get some light into that part. So what I did, I borrowed one of their standees. It's a white board, and I placed it just to the opposite side where the sun was shining, in effect bouncing off a little bit of light back into the bread. And this is the image from that. So as you can see, just using the natural light and just a modifier, in this case it didn't cost me much, it's just a white board, we're able to get more details into the subject that's being seen by the camera sensor, giving us a much pleasant looking image. So now again, I'm putting side by side the image taken from the counter, the image near the window, and the one with the modifier and had been edited a little bit. Now this very last image is from their bar area, and I had maxed out every setting that's available for me on this camera, and you will see that although it was able to light up the subject, it now has visible noise around it. Now whenever this is the case, I mean, I have, at this point I would say I have maxed out what the camera has to offer given the available light. I had to post-process this, so this is now Lightroom magic. So comparing the first image to the second one, you will see that I was able to remove the noise and add more details into the photo by using Lightroom. So I want to prove this point not just from my own photos but through people that I know. And one person that comes to mind whenever I think about, starting with what you have is a creator, a videographer specialized in weddings. His name is Mark Eric Senna. His business page is Eric Visuals, and he is based in Quezon. I've known him for quite some time because during the pandemic we've had this transaction, but he started with an iPhone 6. Can you believe that? It's not even flagship, but at the time he was able to produce like really great output because he worked on his storytelling. And then from there, when he got some clients in, he started to exceed what his mobile gear can offer. So that's a time when he considered, upgrading his gear to a proper camera. That is the point of this video. It is not always about the gear, especially when you're just starting out. It's about you. Once you start learning how to use light, even old gears and your mobile phone can surprise you. You have an old camera, study the exposure triangle and understand light. You have a mobile phone, then you can learn composition basics like rule of thirds, leading lines, what have you. And this video is the first installment of my video series titled Start With What You Have. And the second video that I'll be creating within this series is titled Things You Should Not Do When Starting. Again, I'm Jan Fresnedi. Thanks so much for your time, and like always, keep on shooting, keep on learning, and start with what you have. Till the next video.